All right. Stand by here. 6, 7, 8, 9, connect. Okay. Sorry for the distraction. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody, depending upon where you may be. Morning for those of us here in the U.S., but good afternoon for everybody over in Europe, and good day for everybody that depending upon where you're at. How's everybody doing? So got a quick comment from Matt Cook. Matt, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you on the broadcast today. Okay, so if you didn't get a chance to read today's description, today's webinar is all about difficult registrations. Okay, and what I'm working with is my Trimble X7. Forensic scanning solution, as well as my T10 tablet and Trimble Forensics Capture, our field data collection software. So that's the content of today's webinar, is difficult registrations. Not necessarily difficult registrations, but how to spot a registration problem, and then also how to fix it. Okay, how to look for it, how to find it, and then how to fix it, as well as some field techniques to get a better registration or get a better result. So that you may not be fighting registration quite so much. So what makes this unique is that you're actually doing registration in the field, okay, using our tablet and Trimble Forensics Capture software with the X7 plugin. You're doing registration here. Now that sets it apart from all previous laser scanning where you scanned and it was a mystery until you got back to the office. Well, the advantage here is you can spot problems, you can see problems, and you can actually hear problems happening in the field so that you can go fix them, rather than just going through, pushing on through, and then getting back to the office and then going, oh no, what, oh man, not good, now we have to fix this, okay? And so the reason for today's webinar, I shouldn't say the reason, but what spawned this webinar is over the last week I've been taking a lot of questions in regards to registration and looking at a lot of scenes, and I think this is something that those of us in law enforcement and public safety are kind of foreign to, is fixing problems right when they happen, rather than cleaning it up later like most of us had to do in our careers. A problem happens and we have to go in and clean it up later. Wouldn't it be easier to just clean it up right when it's happening? So that's the premise behind today's webinar. Okay, so those of you that have seen our broadcast before know that we do a giveaway, or do kind of a contest. And so last week we did a couple of these patches, and we're going to be doing it again today. So I'm going to come up close here, and we have a Trimble Forensics patch. Now let me get this slung here so I can talk to you guys a little more. Okay, Trimble Forensics patch. There's 2 of these up for grabs at today's webinar. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to give you the hint on, or not the hint, but the rules on the contest and what you need to be looking for. Send us a message on Facebook and with the answer as well as your address, and we will ship you out one of our patches. So these patches, these are very nice, guys. I'm not gonna lie, these are sharp. They do have the Velcro on them, so if there was a question about do you need the Velcro, nope, we do have Velcro, so sew it onto a backpack, go bag, whatever you want, sew it on, and then you've got the other side right here. Stick it on, you're good, or if you already have Velcro, stick it on. I've got one on my backpack. If you're at the airports a lot, hey, you're gonna see one of these patches on the back of my bag. Get a hold of me. There's probably more swag where that came from. So that's the giveaway today, is Trimble Forensics patches. So here's what we have set up. We have a scene set up here that's in a park. I've got some trees, got some signs. I've got some stuff around here. Let me kick over to, I believe it's camera 2 here, so you can have a look at that. So camera 2 is off to my right side, and it's kind of looking on this general area here. And then I have camera 3, which is kind of it's another overview camera looking out at the parking lot. So it kind of gives you an idea of, kind of our scene, what we're looking at, all that good stuff. Okay, so we scanned this scene, all right? And this is a wide open area. We have a little bit of registration information, namely the tree trunks. We've got a post out here. We've got a sign that provides a little bit of a plane. We've got another sign that provides a plane. But what I did is I conducted 3 scans out into this open field. Now, if there's an assault that happens, or, you know, this is kind of meant to approximate also a large intersection, okay? If you're scanning a large intersection, usually there aren't many things at intersections, right? There's not supposed to be things at intersections. They're supposed to be wide open to give motorists a clear view of what's around them so they can make the decision to make their turns, proceed through the intersection, those kinds of things. And if you've got large intersection, you may have light poles and those kinds of things that are around, but they're not real close. They're not close in. And so laser scanning those intersections may prove to be just a little bit challenging. So that's what we're covering today, is how to laser scan these. Now, if you're wanting more information on educational opportunities, we do have an online training platform. That's at learn.trimble.com. And if you scroll down, we have got a forensics area. And if you're interested in taking some of our free online courses, there's the four letter F word of free. If you're interested in taking one of our free online courses, create a Trimble ID, log in, and take one of our free online courses to hone your skills and make it just a little bit easier next time you go out in the field. Also, on our webpage is forensics.trimble.com is where you will find, excuse me, where you'll find additional information in regards to your instruments, as well as software and other things that may be of value to you. I'll let you know that our website does play a little bit of a role today. I'll just come out with it. It's going to play a role in the contest. Forensics.trimble.com. That's going to play a role in our contest today. So if you want a patch, be prepared to fire up the website. So forensics.trimble.com is our website. Okay. So let's get to it here. You may notice that I have some additional stuff on the back of my T10 tablet. Namely, I've got an extra Wi-Fi adapter, and that allows me to do a screencast to you. And so what I can do here is I'll transition over, and hopefully, there we go. So you're seeing my screen right now, or you're seeing my Trimble Forensics Capture scene. The scene that I've conducted 3 laser scans on. Okay, I've got 1, 2, and 3. Now, on scans 1, 2, and 3, you notice that we don't have a green line there, meaning that the scans aren't registered. Or if there was a green line, you may look at this and you may say, you know, that registration doesn't look too bad, right? We have some trees in here. That registration doesn't look too bad. We're good to go, right? We're good to go to continue on with our scene. We're good to go to, you know, let's just power through, right? It looks good, let's just power through. Well, there isn't a green line there for a reason. Or if there is a green line, we need to do just a little bit of looking here to see what we have. I'm gonna move my camera here. Sorry guys, I apologize. I'm gonna move my camera here. And you can't see it, it's off screen, but I'm going to move my camera. Okay, now that I've got that moved, I wanted to clear the sidewalk for people walking through here. Okay, now that I'm looking at my registration, and right when we're get back to camera 1. Again, when we're looking at this scene, we've got a wide open field. We got a lot of stuff. We got a barren landscape behind us that doesn't have a whole lot of stuff for our scan registration to happen. So with that scan registration, what each registration is looking for, or what each laser scan is looking for, is a set of common things, right? Common geometry. And that common geometry really matters when it comes to scan registration. So we'll transition back over here to our full screen view of Capture. So as I'm looking here, I conducted some 2-minute scans out in this area. And these 2-minute scans, while they look pretty good, there's a registration problem here. And the question is, how do we find registration problems? How do we spot them? Well, the first one is in the events. And we may notice when we pop open our events here, you may notice we've got some issues here. Check registration. And of course, my tablet battery had to be swapped out, and I had to restart my tablet because I didn't have it ready in an hour. These batteries are hot swappable, but I wasn't quite quick enough. Okay. So when we're looking here, I'm looking for registration problems. And when I look at it, you know, it looks pretty good, right? It looks okay. However, one way to spot problems is down here in the bottom right of the screen. Now, on the bottom right of the screen is it looks like a little box. And this box has got, it looks like you can slice away the top. And when I tap on that, that gives me a way to slice down from the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag down and slice this away. And what I'm looking for here are my tree trunks. Now, tree trunks make a pretty good way to spot registration problems. So I'll slice it away so I can see the tree trunks. When I zoom in down here, the next tool I'm going to use is on the left side of my screen. Now, on the left side of my screen, it looks like a little cloud with a magnifying glass. Let's see here. I'm going to... Yeah, there we go. We'll just stay with that. Okay, down at the bottom, or I'm sorry, on the left side of the screen, it looks like a little cloud with a magnifying glass. So it's on the left side, and if I tap on that, it's going to say pick a point to magnify that area. And if I tap on my tree trunk right in the center, that allows me to isolate that tree trunk. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my magnifier size. I'm going to jump up maybe a 10 foot. And we can see here, we've got a problem. If I change it to scan color, so I'm going to go to, instead of color coded intensity, I'm going to go to scan color. And this shows me my green, yellow, and blue scans are not where they're supposed to be. Now, those green, yellow, and blue correspond with my station list. You'll notice there, each one's got a little header beside it of green, yellow, and blue. So we've got a registration problem on this scene. Our first indication was we got a little ding on our excuse me, on our tablet telling us, hey, registration problem. Second thing was I'm looking. What am I looking for? What I'm looking for are things that are kind of similar, and they're roughly in the same spot, but not quite. See here, we've got our sign here. Supposed to be green and blue. Well, our blue scan is off. Other things I'm looking at is my sidewalk. Now that we know what to look for, when we're looking at this scene and we're saying, you know, this looks pretty good, when we get down in here and we start looking, we start finding problems. So the next question is, how do we fix it, right? How do we fix it? Now, we can always say, screw it, I'm moving on. We could do that. And take the, you know, attack it with a big hammer approach. We could do that. However, as we all know, cutting corners sometimes, well, not sometimes, cutting corners comes back to bite us. And where it comes back to bite us is later on in our project when we're trying to figure out what is what, and we've got the same wall happening 6 different places, and we're trying to figure out, did we get everything? Is it registered correctly? And we've got the same wall in 6 different places. And then things kind of become a little bit difficult to clean up later. So as we all know, if there's a problem, deal with it now. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. I mean, one of my favorite mottos is, don't put off till tomorrow what you can put off till next week. I'm a horrible procrastinator. However, we need to fix this right here and now. So let's fix it. Okay? How do we fix it? Well, let's go back into Capture. All right. We're back in Capture. We need to figure out how to fix this. So we have scans 1, 2, and 3. Let's look at the relationship between 1 and 2. Now I have my station list open on the top right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off scan 3 by ticking the little eyeball. And right now all I'm seeing are scans 1 and 2. Do scans 1 and 2 have a problem? It sure looks like it to me. I'm going to bump my point size up here just a touch, make it a little easier to see. So it sure looks like it to me. Now you may notice that these points are a little sparse. Scan number 2 was quite a ways away. And as a result of scan number 2 being quite a ways away, there isn't a whole lot of density on that tree. Same thing over here. Scan number 2 was quite a ways away, and we don't have a whole lot of density to work with. All right, let's work on this. So we have scans 1 and 2. There's a couple ways to go about this. One way is that I can just tap on the station. So I'm just going to tap on the blue triangle, which is station 2. And I'm going to say register. Now it takes me to a top-down view. Now there's two ways to go about registering this. One way is to pan and slide. So right now what I'm doing is I'm tapping my finger, pressing and holding on station 2, and I'm moving it around. Now this tends to work really well on interior scenes, but not real well on outdoor scenes, where Z value may be an issue. So up on the top left, there's a button here called Split View. And if I tap on Split View, this allows me to see the view. On the left is scan number 2, on the right is scan number 1. What I'm going to do is find common features. You know, this post might be okay. The problem is I'm looking at two different sides of the post, so that's not really an option. One option here is this sign. If I get spun around here, there we go. So our sign with two posts, what I'll do is I'll tap once on the left side, once on the right. Now what I'll do is I'll find my tree. I'll tap 2 there. And this tree isn't going to work. And the reason is I'm seeing two different sides of the tree. So that one's not going to work either. Let's pick this one. So I cleared that out. I'll select point number 1. I'll come over here, select point number 2. Making sure I have the same tree. And it is. Let's go 2, and now I tap on register. And what's going to happen is it's going to make a comparison between scan 1 and scan 2, and it's going to register it. Now, while this is happening, you don't have to stop scanning. You can keep laser scanning, keep the X7 working. You're going to continue to get more information. Now, it's saying check registration. What the software is telling me is, hey, I found a solution, but I have an error of 11.7 millimeters, 37% overlap. There's 100% consistency, which means it's probably the same, but we need to do a little bit of checking here. What I'm doing is I'm slicing down. I'm going to look at my tree trunk. We'll look in here. Does this tree trunk look right? Yep, it sure does. Does this tree trunk look right? As you can see, there isn't a lot of information here. But that one looks right. I'll spot check my sign. Another way to do this is on the left side with our cloud and magnifying glass. What I'll do is I'll tap here, and I'll look at my sign. Do I have good colors mixing on that plane? Yes, I do. Now, there aren't many there. The reason is that the scanner was a long way away, and I did a 2-minute scan. It looks as good as we're going to get, although 11 millimeters of error is pretty high. I'm going to tap on register and lock those two together. I'm going to register 2 to 1. All right, since I moved it just a touch, we're now at 10.8. I'm going to create that link, so I'm going to manually force those two to lock together, even though the software is saying I'm not real certain you want to do that. With what I did in the field, it's as good as we're going to get, at least with what I have already done in the field. Now, you can see here behind me, I have got a lot of void space, a lot of wide open space. There's not a lot here, okay? And because the scanner was sitting a long way away from those, there isn't a lot of density on the trees themselves, the trees, the sign, the post. There isn't a lot of information there. The remedy to that is either one, to make smaller moves and get up close to things and then work your way out and do more scans. The other way is to bump your scan time up. Now, I told you I did a 2-minute scan on those. So scans 1, 2, and 3, they were all 2-minute scans. Now, 2-minute scans work well indoor. You may run into some problems outdoor. If you're seeing things like this, where it's saying check registration, check registration, check registration, and you have a very high amount of error, that's what I'm finding is when you're working outdoors, that's kind of an indication that you need to bump up your scan time. And by bumping up your scan time, what you're doing is you're getting more information farther away, which with our registration geometry, our trees, our signs, those kinds of things, with our registration geometry being far away, we need more information out farther away. So we need to bump up our scan time. So bumping it up, say to a 4-minute, can a lot of times help with that registration issue. All right, let's continue on. All right, so we're back in Capture. So we've got 1 and 2 now locked in. What I want to do is work on 3. So on my top left side, instead of 2, I'm going to tap on 3, and I want to register 3 to 2. Now I'm looking here, do I have a registration problem? The first sign I'm seeing is on this signpost. And again, there's not a lot of information there. To give an idea of where I went, get zoomed out here. Scan number 3 was conducted clear out here. Now to get an idea of distance, we're looking about 85 feet, which is a pretty big move for a 2-minute scan outdoors with our registration stuff, our trees, our signs, that kind of stuff being 85 feet away. A 2-minute scan doesn't leave a whole lot of information. So let's go in and register this. And we're so far out that I'm having trouble finding where it is. Okay, there's my sign. There's that tree. There's my post. There's another sign. There's my post. There's my other sign. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this sign again. 1 and 1. Oop. There we go. Fat fingered it. And I think what I'll do is I will use... I'm just going to use this tree again to see what I can get. Now again, I'm having a lot of problems here. And the reason I'm having problems is the scan density wasn't very high very far out. Again, I did 2-minute scans outdoors in a very wide open area, which again causes problems when the things you need for registration are a long way away. So what I may have to do on this one, I may have to pan and slide. Or I'm sorry, pan and rotate, not pan and slide. Good grief, they're the same stinking thing. All right, so I'll go to a top-down view. I'm going to look here and see, do I have the information I need where I need it? There isn't much there. I can see here I need to move it up and to the right just a little bit, so I'll move it. You make a small rotation change. And hit register and see what I can get. Again, I'm having a lot of problems with this one. Reason being, it's a wide open field. There isn't much to register with. So one thing you can do with this is that you can, kick back over to camera 1 here, what you can do is you can put things out in the scene, okay? Set a box down. If you have a toolbox handy, set a toolbox out. Set something out in the field as well to act as your registration geometry. If you have to rely on stuff that's far away, plan on upping your scan time. We can see here that I have 13 millimeters, 13.8 millimeters of error, 25% overlap, and 100% consistency. Again, pretty high error here. 13 millimeters is pretty high. When I start spot checking this, see here that I still have a couple little problems that I need to solve. All right, so it's possible 3 to 2 isn't going to work for me. So let's do 3 to 1 instead. Maybe with 3 to 1 we get a little bit better information. So let's do 3 to 1. So we can tell here I need to slide it just a bit up and to the right. See if that works a little better. And again, if you're jumping around on your scene, if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and switch my camera over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you jump over and do 7, 8, 9, we need to remember that maybe 7 doesn't register to 6, maybe 7 registers to 1. All right, let's get back into Capture here. All right, I've got an error of 18 millimeters, 22% overlap. So let's check it. Now use my magnifying glass. Yep. Go. I'm going to, this doesn't look too bad, but I'll look down in here. Yeah, we've still got some problems here. Let's do a split view. There's 1 and 1. That tree right here. So let's see if maybe get it to take right here. Now the question is, how could this have been avoided, right? Now I've got a registration problem on my hands. How do I avoid it? How do I fix it? I know in the field I've got an issue, right? I can't get this thing to register. So what do? I take my X7 out and I walk my way out. So as you saw, it's positioned close enough to get an idea here of where I was at. Back over to my Capture full screen. There we go. To get an idea of where I was, I can see here I made a big jump, okay? Big jump. And I am a long way out from anything doing 2-minute scans. The question is, how do I fix it? Well, how do I fix it? I maybe go up by station number 1 and I scan my way out. Okay? Work my way out to number 3 with, say, some 4-minute scans, or maybe some 7-minute scans. Work my way out to that orphan station so that I can fix it here. And that's what I'm gonna go do now, is I'm gonna grab my X7, I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna work my way out there so that I do have enough information for a good registration. I'll start up in this area, okay? Up by my sign, my post, my 2 trees, and I'll start doing some 4-minute scans. I'll do a 4-minute, a 4-minute, a 4-minute, and work my way out there, okay? Making smaller steps, doing longer scans to get more density on these trees. The other thing I'm gonna do is I may take my toolbox here and go set it out in the middle. take my toolbox, set it out there, and then work my way out so that I'll have something on the other side to act as registration information as well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing, and I guess it didn't get it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do some 4-minute scans working my way out. Okay, so I have some information on the tree, my post, my sign, my other tree, some 4-minute scans, and work my way out again, so that I have good information for the software to make a good registration. And the nice thing is, I can fix this right here. I know it's a problem, and I can fix it right here. I don't have to get back to the office and then realize, oh no, I didn't get what I needed to get. I can't put this thing together. Now I gotta go back out on scene. Now the nice thing is today, it's overcast. I'm not getting sunburned like I did last week. So today's not bad. Tomorrow's supposed to be 101. And if I find out tonight that I've got bad registration, if I didn't have my Perspective field software to go out or to check it right here and now and fix it right here and now, I would have to come back out tomorrow when it's going to be 100 degrees and about 85% humidity. Not fun. So I can fix it here, knock out some 4-minute scans, and get out of here and know that I have a good project before I leave. Okay? So that was the topic of today's webinar, is how to spot problems. Again, I was able to spot that I had a problem here right from the get-go. I knew it was a problem, and now I know how to go fix it. Do some higher or some longer scans to get more registration information and work my way out to that orphan scan. So again, be checking it in the field. Field checks, field checks, field checks. Be checking it. I was getting error messages, as you saw in the log. I was getting error messages that scan registration failed, scan registration failed, scan registration failed. That's something to key in on, that, hey, we've got some work that we need to do here to make sure that we have a good scene at the end. All right, with that, I'm going to check the messages here. While I do that, bear with me. I'm going to kick you back over to my full screen while I move my camera. I'm going to have to come over here and check my messages. All right, got a question from Matt. Matt, would a traffic cone be sufficient as an object? And the question and the answer for that one is a good solid maybe. The reason I say maybe is that a traffic cone is, it's somewhat cylindrical. However, it's not perfectly cylindrical, and it may or may not make good registration information. I'll kick back over here. It may or may not be good registration information. You can always try it. In the past, I've had some good success using traffic cones, like the 18 to 24 inch varieties. I've had some good success with them. I've also had some horrible failures with them. The nice thing about it is that throw some traffic cones out and see. Again, you've got the Capture field software that you can see if you're having problems. If you're starting, or if you're having good luck with it, if you put out some cones and, hey, I'm getting good registration, hey, you're in good shape, keep using them. It's definitely worth a try. Again, I've had some good luck and I've had some bad luck. I can say that I did try the fabric pop-up cones. The collapsible ones now when I was working the road. I love those things because I could stack 6 of them in a spot about this big, had a heavy rubber base, they worked great. Where they were awful was trying to do registrations, in that it was a fabric that was odd shaped and it did not give me enough information to register. However, if we got the good solid rubber ones that had the smooth exterior surface, they tend to work a little bit better. However, they needed to be fairly close. Since they were a small object, they provided some information, but again, your mileage may vary. Definitely give it a shot. Again, I've had good luck and I've had bad luck with it. So be checking it in the field software. Again, field checks, field checks, field checks, be checking it. The best time to find your problems is right there when you're on scene versus going back to the office and then, oh no, my project won't come together. Now I gotta go back. It's not good. You have the drive time. Again, the weather may not be conducive to you going back as well. And tomorrow it's supposed to be over 100 here, miserable hot. That's why we're doing our webinar today. And also it's Wednesday, so Wednesday workshop. So that's, again, I can find the problem today. I can fix it today. It's a nice 68 degrees and you know, just a light breeze, it's a nice day. So again, I can fix it here today and it's a lot easier to work with. Okay, I'm not seeing, let me scroll down here and double check. All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up today's Wednesday workshop webinar, WWW. And speaking of WWW, you are gonna need the Trimble Forensics website. Okay, that's forensics.trimble.com. You're gonna need the website in order to get a patch today. So for today's workshop, again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I'm more than happy to answer them. Okay, our Trimble Forensics patch. Right here, up for grabs are 2 of them, and these are the 2. Up for grabs, we have 2 of these puppies. Limit of 1, so I'm not gonna send you both, but limit of 1. So the contest for today is a question about the Trimble X7 laser scanner. And the question comes from the Trimble Forensics X7 spec sheet. Okay, the question is, what is the scanning speed of the X7 in high sensitivity mode? Okay, what is the scanning speed of the X7 in high sensitivity mode? It should be on the spec sheet. You should be able to find it. So with that, the first 2 people that can give me a correct answer on that, and it should be on the spec sheet, I hope. If the high sensitivity speed is not on the spec sheet, it should be. Last I checked, it was. If it isn't on the spec sheet, what is the maximum scanning speed of the Trimble X7 laser scanner? Okay. Go to the X7 spec sheet. First 2 people that can give me a correct answer win one of our patches, and I'll send it out to you. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap up today's webinar. Hopefully it was useful to you. The big takeaway for it is be looking for registration problems in the field and fix them in the field. It's a lot easier to fix them in the field than it is to go back to the office and figure out that it isn't going to work. So again, we give you the heads up that, hey, you may have a problem, fix it in the field. How do you fix it in the field? Well, by either making shorter moves or upping your scan time to get more density on those objects that are further out. With that, thank you very much for watching. If you have a question, comment, if there's something you would like to see on one of our live webinars, shoot it to us in a comment, message, shoot it to us in an email. We would love to hear it, and I would love to tailor a live stream just for you. If there's a question, if you've had problems with something, if there's just something you've always wondered about or struggled with, by all means, send it to us. I would love to do a live stream for you that addresses your concerns specifically and get you an answer tailored for you. With that, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.